My name is Nina, and I'm from Mid Wales, a place called Llanfachlin.
I guess what would be like one main lesson that you've learned so far in your traveling?
Um, is not just traveling in Thailand, but kind of traveling. So last year I went to Africa for 3 months, to Nigeria specifically, and then this year I'm in Thailand, and it's definitely like conceptions of people and the worry of people who you leave at home is just so wrong. Like it's so wrong. So when I was coming here, everyone was like, "Oh, be really careful with your money. Like you have to keep it in loads of different spaces around your bag. Everyone's gonna be trying to steal stuff from you. Or don't go to the markets. Don't eat street food. You're gonna get really ill because of the food you eat. You have to be really careful. Make sure you watch people cooking it right in front of you. Don't eat meat from the streets. Like, and all about that. Well, yeah, like just it's just stupid because like we've eaten street food like every day and eaten meat because that's what it is. So it's just ridiculous. I think that is one of the big things. So yeah, it's the misconceptions of like people. When you come, it's like it's real. It's not dangerous. It's just people live here.
So do you find a difference in people? I mean, yeah, the culture is different, but then
Oh,
just the consciousness, yeah.
yeah, I do. Um, and I think it's just a difference between kind of the UK, especially because I've been abroad, on holidays and stuff to kind of Croatia or in Spain or whatever, and they're sunny countries and people are happier. And I think that's kind of the same in Thailand because lots of people are much happier, and it's not because it's sunny, because obviously that's a silly thing, but I think that sun does help and that light for like long days and stuff does help because in the UK in the winter we have so much more depression because we've got like 8 6 hour day, like really short, not that short, but I think yeah, and like living outside because everyone here can live outside because it's so warm outside. I think that is definitely a contribution to why people are much more welcoming to strangers because they see strangers because they're outside their houses, and why they're much happier because they're outside and they've got fresh air and they're not just, well, lots of people are on their gadgets and stuff, but I don't know. I think I've seen even a difference between down here and Bangkok, or Bangkok and Pai, or Chiang Mai and Bangkok. I think Bangkok's definitely got people. People are really friendly still, but they're just not quite as friendly because they've got things to do, places to be. It's really busy, but that's the city.
What does consciousness mean to you?
Consciousness. I think it's got different layers. Consciousness, because yeah, I think everybody is conscious of some things, but then other things you kind of you learn. So everyone has the ability to be conscious of everything, but I think we kind of blank bits off because we don't know about it. We don't want to know more about it. And I think some people can like open and not know everything, but are a lot more conscious because they're more accepting to learn and to feel and to have new experiences. But I think that if you kind of you're blocked off from loads of those things and you're like, no, I don't want to try new this or whatever. I think your consciousness is kind of really retained, and that you're not as conscious because you haven't let yourself experience new things, and you haven't let yourself, I don't know, your consciousness isn't as free. So yeah.
So then what do you think about plants being conscious?
Plants, I think absolutely, but perhaps not in the same way as people because they're with different things. So the conscious would be different because a plant might be conscious of whether it's night or day, or whether it's rained a lot or it's sunny, or if there's drought, or whether it needs to close up because there's not enough to eat or it's going to be cold. But I think we've got a different consciousness because we don't just think about those things, those basic things. We kind of have to think about more.
So then animals, do you think animals are conscious?
Yeah. And again, I think that different animals have different levels of consciousness because you can't, well, you can, but like to put animals all together in one thing is like crazy because there's like mosquitoes and but then there's like dogs and horses, and I think but I definitely think they've all got consciousness. They're all conscious of something. I don't think it's really, you can't really be alive without being conscious because otherwise you're just like I don't know, you're not aware of like
So then with technology, what role do you think that plays in whether it's with consciousness or just even human evolution?
I think with human evolution, technology is both bringing us forwards and taking us back. So I think we're getting lazy with what we're doing. So instead of going to the local market and haggling over the price of a t-shirt, like we're just buying it online. It just makes us kind of like, that's already the first step, but it just kind of gets more and more, and there's technology can do more and more stuff. So there's new things where you can cook food, I think, just by like tapping your phone, but that's it just breaks the interaction between things. And I think it's in that sense it's really taking us back to like we're not going to be able to do things for ourselves in the same way. Things that we've learned as humans, we've evolved to be able to do like with our hands, and like, so here we're building the hut, and but so many people wouldn't do that because that's like physical labor, and that's, why would I do that when you can get cranes to like lift it up? Or but it's like the power of humans is impressive, and I think we will lose sight of what we can do if we have so much technology. Well, not just technology, but infrastructure and whatever. But then I think that it's also really good. I think that technology is aiding us in many ways because we have like with the internet and with phones and with cameras, we have access to more information, so we can learn so much more and so much quicker, and all the online learning. And if you want to know about things, you can Google it and you can find out, and it's you have more access to sources of information from different things. So you have one topic instead of getting one book, finding out one person's perception of it. You can go and Google, and you can read 10 different articles, and it's all just there. And I think that's incredible. I think that's absolutely taking us forwards, and I think that we have absolutely got the ability to just create a completely united world. And I could upload something and which I could read it, but he could read it in Thai. It could be translated, and it could be like my experience here, and he could read about how much I've enjoyed it, or it could be my experience at home, and he could learn how I use compost toilets, and he'll be like, I'm learning about compost toilets, and then I've read it, and then he'll like it. I think that technology is just opening so many gates to not just like the people who created it, but lots of like the developing world, especially. They're jumping ahead of the UK and the US and Europe in terms of technology, in terms of they don't need to go through the phase of what is it, what do I do here, they just go straight into the kind of so we can just pay each other using our phones, we don't need cash, get rid of the cash. And it's I think it's definitely got two sides to it, technology.
Yeah, awesome. So then with whatever message that you could give the whole world, what would your message be?
Um, um, find out for yourself about things. So don't just believe the bad stories about things. Don't just believe the good things about things. You know, find out for yourself whether a country is dangerous or not, whether a food is spicy or not, whether it's difficult to walk up a mountain or not, whether I think, yeah, definitely don't just, you know, take people's experiences into consideration, but don't just take their word as gospel. You know, find out for yourself, because why wouldn't you? You know,
Mm.
yeah.
So then, if you had funding and could then be given, you could do like a task or job or any certain thing, but you had funding for it and you could do anything that you wanted, like, and you could start tomorrow, what would you do?
Um, I'd work on breaking down stereotypes. It's like it's just a huge thing for me. It just like it wasn't at all, at all. Like
Well, how would you do that?
how would I do it? I don't know. I'd have to try in those different ways, I guess. I'd probably take take people from the UK to developing countries and get them to live there for a week, and you know, not, but like give them the house, but nothing like nothing else. Maybe a bit of like the food, like not the food, the money that the local people would have for a week, and they'd have to experience it, and they'd have to live in the culture. And I think definitely I'd want to break down kind of the elitism. I'd want to take people who are up there and be like, yeah, but experience this, and people who are down here, like, I know that sounds harsh, you know, experience what these people are living, but like, I think if it just like a life swap in loads of different ways, I think it would be beneficial, because then there wouldn't be so much hatred towards like cultures or religion. I think, yeah, so you know, there's loads of people in the UK who are against Muslims, but I think if you force them, or you know, this is why I've got loads of money, whatever. But I think if they living the Muslim culture for like a week, they'd know that it's, or not a week, even longer. You know, it doesn't really matter how long, but I think it would definitely make them think differently. They'd be like, oh, so it's not what I thought it was. It's a different thing. It's people's lives. It's yeah. I think, but I don't know how to do it. Yeah, I think I'd start with taking photos and sharing stories at a very basic level. But that's what I'm trying to do. So yeah.
Awesome.